Don't mind the absolute fucking bloat cell I've become. You know, absolute fucking bloat cell. All right, but this is going to be a review on the, at least what I say, the copium raw meat diet. Okay, and so what is the raw meat diet? Is basically eating, well, as you know, raw meat, right? The primal diet, I think it's a little bit different, but the raw meat diet, especially the one that Face IQ before promoted and Gotis promotes, right? So raw organs, raw blood, raw milk, raw honey, fruits, and raw meat, of course, right? You know, this, the cope that, it will make you and ascend you, that raw meat will somehow change your whole fucking um bone structure and all of this shit is absolutely hilarious, right? And I'm not just saying that because I've never tried it. I've actually tried this shit, right? I don't I haven't not tried it, right? So I've actually tried it for, I think, a good month and a half, right? Of that diet back in March till around the middle of April, I think I switched it up. And so I was primarily eating, raw beef. I was drinking raw eggs, a lot of fruit, um, some raw honey here and there, right? But for the most part, what it did was it made you more calm. So what that means is that instead of feeling always agitated and like shifty, you feel more calm. You feel at peace, when you eat raw meat. It's like it's a weird sensation. I can't really express it, but that definitely comes with just eating raw meat. You feel a lot more safe. Let's put it that way. Safe. You feel safe when you eat raw meat. And the second thing is it cleared up my acne. So it does do that. Now, it doesn't inherently also make you leaner, but I've seen that you do lose a lot of weight because the calories are metabolized differently. I don't know so much into that science shit, but I'm just telling you from my experience. I lost about 10 pounds when I started eating raw meat. And this is basically, I ate whenever, I walked whenever I wanted, I did whatever I wanted, right? So I was eating raw meat and I only ate raw meat whenever I felt like it, right? And I didn't eat when I didn't want to feel like, wouldn't eat, right? And yeah, so cleared up my acne. Let's also talk about that. Forgot to talk about that. Cleared up my acne. So what happened was that maybe within the first 1 or 2 weeks, it cleared up my acne, and so holy shit, it is so hot outside. But it cleared up my acne, right? So 1 or 2 weeks it took for the raw meat diet, and this was plainly just eating raw beef that it fixed my acne. So it does do that, you know. But I will also say that I have pretty good skin genetics already, right? I remember one of my friends telling me that I have god tier skin genetics, right? One of my other friends also told me that my epidermis is really thick and I don't really get acne that much. So take that into account, right? But, for the most part, it did make my skin more full, right? I will say that it made my skin more full, right? Maybe primarily because I was eating healthier, right? Healthier than what I was already eating. Because before I was just eating shit food, I was eating just fucking junk food and shit, right? And then switching to the raw meat diet cleared up the acne, also made my skin more full and more voluminous, right? Is what I would say. Jesus Christ, it's so fucking hot in this place. Sorry, I'm in the middle of Stinksville. All right, so it's really fucking hot. It really gets to you. But um um yeah, so let's talk. We talked about three things so far. So cleared up the acne, got me leaner. How often did I cheat on my diet? So this is a bit tough to explain because it wasn't always so often, right? This is not a very hard diet to stick to. I know it's raw meat, right? And it's like kind of gross for you to think about, oh, it tastes like shit. No, well, it really doesn't. Okay, raw meat doesn't taste like shit. Okay, especially if you get it from a good source. Lean ground beef that is grass fed from a good source will not taste like shit. I promise. Right? So, doesn't taste like shit, but it's kind of easy to stick to other than most diets because you eat whenever you want, right? I will say that you eat whenever you want, and it makes it a lot better than some of the other diets like carnivore and shit where the calories are also metabolized differently. On the raw meat diet, it's not metabolized as closely as the carnivore diet, and so you can really get away with eating whenever you want, right? Right. I was also like, mind you, I was also getting about 10,000 steps a day, right? So added to the leanness when I was on the raw meat diet. So we talked about now four things. And you know what? I'm gonna add one more thing to it, is that it's only hard to stick to when you have people around you convincing you of trying to, eat junk food all the time and shit like that. I think then it's really hard to stick to the raw meat diet. But if you're by yourself and you have friends around you who also eat the same diet, then yeah, it's not that hard. So final thing I would say is that, is it good for looks maxing? Is this whole fucking diet just cope, or is it actually good? Is it actually, a viable thing for looks maxers? And I would say, fuck no. Don't do it. Don't waste your time on it at all. There, you could. It's right. The whole point of looks maxing is to max out your looks, right? And this raw meat fucking shit is absolute cope. Absolute cope. Okay. And you probably didn't expect that coming from what I just, said over the past like few minutes, right? But I'm telling you right now, that is just all cope, okay? There are better diets out there, okay? And this might hurt your feelings, who's ever watching this, face like you go to whoever the fuck it is, right? This might hurt your feelings, but when it comes to looks maxing, right? Please, please, please do not do this diet, because I'm telling you, if you just eat cooked food and count your calories and actually go to the fucking gym, you will be better off than just eating raw meat and doing whatever the fuck you want. I'm telling you right now, raw meat you cannot rely on your diet alone. You cannot rely on diet alone. Remember that. You cannot rely on diet alone, right? Soft max, hard max, do any shit, right? And then go to the gym and take steroids, right? Those types of things are actually more useful than eating raw meat, right? So I would definitely recommend you guys don't do it, and especially if you don't get it from the good source, don't fucking eat this shit. All right, I'll see you in the next one.